Hey there, Tamir from Fibonacci-Traders.com, your stock market review for Monday, October 30th, 2023. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. Let's see what SPY and Friends brought us today. We have a bullish day, 1.2% to the upside on SPY. Long time since we saw this kind of bullish day. Someone knows something? We never know. We follow price and we use trend lines as our GPS for future price action, and as we can see, since July of 2023 we are in a downtrend. This is why we have trend lines. Trend lines goes from up left, down right, which means downtrend until proven otherwise. Trend lines are also support and resistance for future price action, and as long as SPY will not make a higher high above 437, 440, we are in a downtrend until proven otherwise. And don't forget, we have Apple, AMD, Shopify, and many more big names earnings coming up this week. QQQ, FOMC also, almost forgot, FOMC rate decision Thursday. So be prepared for another very volatile week on SPY, QQQ, and all the rest. QQQ also bullish day, 1.13 to the upside, but with a doji. And let's see how the intraday of the Qs went. We have gap up, down, trend line, bounce off a trend line, and this is how it finished. Always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view of price action. Some kind of a bounce, but if we look left, we can see almost the same price action we saw over here. We are getting over here. What does it mean? Qs are in downtrend until proven otherwise. This trend line, this green trend line, look left, resistance, support, support, support. Once again, support, but with a doji, indecision. Bulls of Qs are very weak. Dow Jones with 1.55% to the upside. Also, long time since we saw this kind of bounce on the Dow. Last time it was beginning of October. Now let's see, can we get a bounce towards this red trend line? This red trend line helps us to identify the lower highs. This red trend line helps us to identify the lower lows. Resistance 330, above it, in my opinion, we will see this red trend line, but as long as we won't see, until we won't see a weekly close above this red trend line, at least 1 week, we are in a downtrend towards where? Follow the lines. IWM, not much of a price action today. Doji inside candle holding the 162. Bulls of IWM knows that once this 162 red zone, red level, red line, call it whatever you want, will break to the downside, we are heading south, closing this gap, because we know that more than 80% of all gaps will get filled. And then we have another gap over here at the 125. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Will IWM close this gap during November, December? Maybe closing this gap during November, December. The 125 gap. How far is it? Another 23%. Need something very special to happen for this gap to get filled by the end of 2023, but we always have next year. Bitcoin, not much of a movement. 33,800 holding as support. All this area resistance in the past few days, in the past week already. The 35,100 breaking below. Where price might be heading next? No need to guess. We have Fibonacci that tells us 31,650 is next support. Ethereum Trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. Trend lines, Fibonacci, works on any time frame and on anything you want to trade, whether it's cryptos, ETFs, stocks, futures, forex, on any time frame. You don't need any other lagging indicators. All these indicators, without any exceptions, they are all lagging, which means they shows us only where price came from. They don't show us where price might be heading next. I can look left by myself. Just look left, and then I know where price came from. My problem as a trader is to know with the highest probability where price might be heading next. And this is why I found during my first 2 years on in my trading journey, I found the trend lines, and Fibonacci gives me everything that I need to know with the highest probability where price might be heading next. Ethereum, downtrend until proven otherwise, breaking below this white trend line. Where are we going? We are going to visit this trend line. Below this one, we are going back to the 16K. Below 16K, we will visit this white trend line. Breaking above this purple trend line, where price might be heading next. Use Fibonacci. Don't guess. This is not a guessing game. This is not a gambling game. Fibonacci. 1864, together with this purple trend line. If price of Ethereum will go down towards here and then break above, we have Fibonacci to the upside and to the downside. Always prepare for both sides. Check the links in the description below. Start with the Fibonacci Academy playlist. 26 videos. Each video no more than 15 minutes on how to become a better trader each and every day, technical side and the psychology behind trading. And of course, you're more than welcome to check all the rest of the links. Choose your path to become a successful trader. We have the one-on-one live mentorship program. We have the online program, same program, pre-recorded. Both programs are with me. Lifetime access guaranteed for support, guidance, all Discord channels, because my aim and my goal is to help you shorten the learning curve, and it's a very, very volatile learning curve until you will become a professional trader. You will know how to look left, and you will know with the highest probability where price might be heading next on any time frame that you want. So check the links in the description below, and we have also special discounts available in English and in Hebrew. CL1 crude oil futures inside this red zone. Bulls are struggling to hold inside. For now, they are succeeding. Breaking below, if they will give up, bears will come full control, and then we are going short towards the 77, 70, and G1 natural gas futures inside an uptrend channel, but once again got rejected by this trend line. That helps us to identify the higher highs. There is such thing as good resistance, because it's a resistance. We can see each and every time price of NG1 reached this trend line, got rejected. But it's higher highs. If you're not long yet on NG1, in my opinion, this is not the time to go long. First, we need this gap to get filled. Maybe you're retesting the 3 once again. No need to guess. Take Fibonacci. Look at this. It gives us everything to the downside, everything to the upside. So what are you waiting for? Learn the in-depth relationship between candlestick analysis, trend lines and Fibonacci. Gold 2010 resistance. It was support and resistance over here. Not surprising, resistance once again. Now 1987 needs to hold. Below it, we have Fibonacci to the downside. SOXX. Finally, this gap. We have talked about this gap and we said this gap needs to get filled, and the sooner the better, and it got filled and bounce. Look at the intraday. Fill the gap and bounce. Doji, we might get some kind of a bounce. Never know. Take Fibonacci. You have all the levels to the upside. And if you tell Fibonacci, give me the levels to the downside, it will give you the levels to the downside. Apple earnings coming up Thursday, 4:30 after the bell. And you know this 170 area from support now becomes a very tough resistance for Apple. Apple bulls needs to show some power to break up and above and then going towards this yellow trend line. But for now, 171, all this red line is a very tough resistance. Amazon 3.9% to the upside. We have a gap to the downside at the 121. We have a gap to the downside at the 106. It's pretty far, but never say never. Maybe not in 2023. But for now, Amazon looks very, very strong. I'm waiting for another day above yesterday's highs. And then we are heading towards the 135 gap. And remember, once that gaps are getting filled, you will see some kind of a retracement. Pullback. Pullback towards where? Do not guess. Take Fibonacci. This is your lifeline in trading. Risk management according to trend lines and Fibonacci. And if you look very closely, what do you see? Like this. What do you see? We have a broadening formation on Amazon. This gap will get filled. We will retest this white trend line as the next resistance. And then, same as did here, we will get retracement with high probability. AMD, earnings coming up tomorrow after the bell. 2 consecutive dojis inside candles, which means market is waiting for the earnings report, and then market will decide whether it's good or bad report. It doesn't matter what we think about AMD. It doesn't matter what we will think about the earnings report. The only thing that matters is market reaction. Bad reaction, and we are going steep towards this red trend line. Good reaction, and this red trend line will break to the upside, and we will see the 110. And once again, we don't need to guess. We have everything to the downside and to the upside. Microsoft 2.3% to the upside. 336 once again, very tough resistance. Long continuation above it towards the 343. Google 1.9%. Too many gaps on Google. Earnings gap got filled today and retracement, intraday retracement. But in my opinion, for now, because we have too many gaps, 2 to the downside, 1 major gap to the upside, let Google clear the noise. For now, we have this trend line. As you can see, bounce, gap got closed, and now let's see continuation towards where? we can take Fibonacci. Once again, Fibonacci, resistance, support, breaking below this gap and then this gap with the levels to the downside. Long continuation, long maybe bounce continuation above 125 towards the 127.80. A weekly close above this area, above the 128, and we will see this gap getting filled. Don't forget, FOMC, Thursday. Be careful. Meta. When I say be careful, it means manage your risk, your stop loss. This is the only thing you have full control of. Meta. All the way to the 618 Fibonacci. Downtrend, bounce, 618. Doji. We will see. 294 if it can hold. It was a very important area of support. Now needs to hold once again support. Otherwise, we will go back to the 274. Tesla. What's going on with Tesla? 4.8 to the downside. Very bearish day on Tesla. But it's not that unusual. 2 weeks back, we have the same day, 4.8%. It's not that unusual. September 22nd, 4.3%. As you can see, every 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks or so, Tesla is giving us between 4 and 5% to the downside. What does it mean? Nothing special. Let's clean the chart a little bit. This is the 618 Fibonacci retracement. We had a major uptrend. Retracement, 618. We had an uptrend, retracement, 50%. Back up, trend line. As you can see, lower highs, earnings gap to the downside, all the way to the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Below this one, where price of Tesla might be heading next? 176 and then 146 gap will get filled, which is another 25% to the downside. If Tesla made 90% in 3 months, less than 3 months, so what is 45% in 2 months? From here to here. Another Tuesday on Tesla. Netflix holding strong above the 392 area. I want to see a break and a close at least 2-3 days above this yellow trend line, and then we are heading towards the 468 area. This gap will get filled, breaking below the 391, and it all comes down to Apple and FOMC rate decision. Breaking below this green line, we are heading towards the 355 gap. Nvidia, bulls of Nvidia are fighting to stay above this red zone with all they have. Friday, inside candle. Today, a doji, another indecision in the market, which means bulls are giving a fight, but bears are very strong. Look at the intraday, how it looks. Gap up, bullish gap up. Bears came in, push all the way, close the gap. Bears gave up, bulls came in. Last candle, nothing much. So what does it mean? Stay tuned for more volatile and very interesting price action on Nvidia. If you're long on Nvidia, in my opinion, your stop loss should be just below this red zone. If you're not long on Nvidia, this is not the time. We have this gap at the 306. Maybe not during 2023, but we always have Next year's Shopify earnings coming up Thursday. And once again, we have trend line that helps us to identify the lower lows. Very nice bounce. Trying, not bounce, but bulls are trying to hold it because they know that if they will fail to hold, next support will be the 44 area. As you can see, 2 consecutive days between the 48 and the 46 area. Bounce, short-term long, maybe 2 days towards the 49. But in my opinion, this is what I do. I never go swinging on the same week that the stock have earnings report, especially 2 days before, 2 or 3 days before. Have many other options out there, opportunities out there, like Macy's. M is the ticker. Double bottom scenario. Today, once again, held above this area. We have talked about Macy's in my top stocks to watch list video. As I do every Sunday, I post this video with my top stocks on watch, and here we are. Now let's see continuation above 1213 towards the 1255 area. 1255 will be a very tough resistance. Only by looking left we can understand it. So we have every day we have opportunities, every day we have, every week, every day. So I hope you found this video helpful, educational. If you did, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends. Don't forget, every trading day, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we are going live. Pre-market analysis, Q&A. Until the next live, until the next video, stay safe.